I don't exactly know how to begin this. All I know is I sure wish you were still here and not back at that Navy base. I need you, Bill. I need to talk to you. You see, I feel sure I'm in trouble. Know what I mean? I'm 3 weeks late. Something that's never happened before. And I've thrown up the past 3 mornings. I know Mother's suspicious. She hasn't said anything yet. But I know what she's thinking. Oh, Bill. What am I going to do? I don't want to have a baby.
Love me.
I do, Bill. You know I do.
What's the matter then?
It's just...
It's just you really don't, huh?
Oh, Bill. I do. I really do.
Then show me.
Oh, Bill. What are we going to do? I know you don't want to get married. And I don't really either, I guess. But what else can we do? I can just hear my parents now.
Oh, Mary, how could you have done such a thing?
I'd like to get my hands on that boy. That's what I'd like to do.
Oh, Bill. How could you let this happen to me?
Well, you sure screwed things up. What's it doing to you? How do you feel about this? Confused and guilty too, maybe?
Yeah. I can't figure out how it happened. I thought those things are supposed to work.
Maybe you were careless. Besides, no birth control thing is absolutely foolproof. Didn't you know that?
If I didn't, I'm learning.
Look, man, why don't you leave him alone? He's had a little bad luck, that's all.
Bad luck? You call getting a girl pregnant bad luck?
So maybe things didn't work out the way we expected. Could have happened to anybody.
Yes, it could. But it happened to him. And it didn't have to happen.
Yeah. I know just what you're gonna say. Bill shouldn't play around with girls.
Well, he didn't have to carry it this far. He knew when to stop.
Yeah, sure he did. You're always trying to stop him from having a good time.
Now, that's not true. I only try to stop him from doing things he'll be sorry for later. Will you look at him?
Look, will you two guys just knock it off? All you're doing is making me more confused.
Hey, get with it, man. I don't know why you let yourself get so upset. Anybody can make a mistake.
Yeah. Then why do I feel so bad?
You know why. Because accident or no accident, you're not very proud of what you've done. Deep down, you know that there are values, like self-respect, honesty, decency, the commandments that everyone has to live by, that are important to you as an individual and to people you're with.
Values? That's Sunday school stuff. Come on, Bill. You're living now, and now is when you gotta live. If it feels good, do it.
Hey, waitress, bring me some more beer.
Okay, just a minute.
You still giving advice? Haven't you got him in enough trouble?
Listen to the man. You don't dig. Bill here, he's just trying to establish his own sense of identity. It's all part of a master plan. He's young, he's healthy, he wants to try things out, to live a little. Right, Bill?
I'll go along with you there. But that doesn't mean hurting yourself or other people.
I say it's his life. Let him have fun.
Yeah, but your idea of fun is full of traps and problems. Well, to go along with you, a guy really has to...
God. There's Joe. I told him I had the duty tonight.
Look at Bill over there, all by himself. I wonder what's gotten into him lately.
I don't know. He sure isn't his usual cheerful self. Something's sure eating him up.
I'd say your idea of fun is cutting in on the kind of fun Bill really needs. Look, if he listened to you, he wouldn't control anything he did. Look at you, always with a cigarette. Is that what you want him to do? Even though it's bad for his health and can even shorten his life?
It's your job to tell him things like that. Mine is to help him have fun.
Bill, you've already seen how you're fun till he come back and haunt you. It's like that with all your habits. Take smoking. Remember when you checked into sick bay with a cold? What'd the doctor say?
Okay, Bill, you can get dressed. You've got a honey of a chest cold, bronchitis, really, and you're aggravating it by smoking. You say you're going through more than 2 packs a day?
Yes, sir. I guess so. I've been kind of tense lately.
Well, you're going to have to knock off the cigarettes till we get this chest congestion cleared up. Maybe by then you can kick it entirely.
Maybe, but I doubt it.
Well, it's your decision. But let me tell you something about what smoking does. Many older people suffering from breathing difficulties, chronic bronchitis, emphysema, lung cancer, and heart disease have smoking to thank for it. Actually, lung cancer occurs 20 times more frequently in cigarette smokers than in non-smokers.
Okay, now a deep breath, deep breath, deep breath, deep breath, deep, 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 deep. Take it in, take it in, take it in, take it in. Now push it out hard. Push, 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 push.
Now, Mr. Walters, 2 months later, as you can see, your heart hasn't changed much, nor have the lungs, except for right here in this one spot. There's this big circle with a hole in the center of it, right in the middle of the left chest, right about here. Now, it's come very rapidly in only 2 months. This is what we're worried about and why you're here. I understand you're a smoker, is that correct?
Frankly, when you see how many people are sick because of smoking, you'd be a fool not to quit.
Well, I gave him up for a couple of weeks.
And to help get rid of that cough, how come you started again?
Why don't you lay off? What he needs is to forget his problems, not be reminded of them. You and I ought to do is get good and smashed.
There you go again. Getting bombed never solved anyone's problems, and it won't solve Bill's.
Okay, Clean Jeans. If you don't want any beer, we'll take care of it for you.
I'm not against Bill having a couple beers. I think it's a good way to relax. But when you start talking about getting drunk, we're right back to what I was saying before, losing control.
Hey, cut it out.
Look at that guy over there. Is that how you'd like to see Bill solve his problems?
Some guy's a little obnoxious.
To say the least.
Yeah, but he's having fun.
That's your style of fun?
I don't see anything wrong with getting a little blasted. He's not hurting anybody.
No one but himself. You know what the shrinks say.
Unfortunately, a lot of younger people start drinking because it makes them feel grown up. The fact is, to be grown up, a mature adult, you need to act responsibly. And too much alcohol makes a person act irresponsibly. Of course, many people today use alcohol occasionally, having one or two social drinks with friends. There's really nothing wrong with that. The trouble comes when social drinking changes into drinking as an attempt to escape from the problems of everyday life. You can tell when this begins to happen. You begin to drink more frequently. You start drinking alone. You gulp your drinks. You sneak drinks. You drink early in the day. You begin to lose time on the job. You experience periods of temporary amnesia. You lose control of your behavior. You say things you have previously suppressed. You behave differently. You may finally lose consciousness. When liquor is repeatedly used to this extent, there's little doubt that the individual is sick. He's become an alcoholic. In a similar way, the person who tries to handle the everyday problems of life by using or even experimenting with drugs may soon find that not only has he not solved his problems, but much worse, he's become saddled with the more serious problem of drug addiction. Getting hooked on drugs is one sure way of lousing up your life, of making each day a hellish nightmare. Cures for drug addiction or for alcoholism aren't easy. Much easier is preventing it, using self-control right at the beginning.
Self-control. That's the way to do it.
Okay. I'm not completely stupid, you know. Well, I might smoke a little and have a beer or two, but, well, that's it. As for drugs, well, forget it. As if I don't have enough of a problem already. No thanks to you.
I keep telling you, man, it was an accident. An accident. Why should it happen again?
You're right, it won't, if Bill uses a little self-control with girls. You're so blinded by a liberal philosophy of life. You don't see how the things a person does today affects what he'll be tomorrow. Things that can affect his whole future. His education, a good job, even a marriage.
Live now. Tomorrow will take care of itself. That's my motto.
Sure, that sounds fine, but it's how you live that counts. A person has to live with himself first. If Bill isn't satisfied with what he is, or what he does, then what is he really living for?
Nothing but fun, brother. Got it? Fun. That's what he has to live for.
No wonder I'm so screwed up, having to listen to you two guys fighting all the time. I'm gonna go talk to someone who can help straighten things out for me.
It's no wonder you're confused, Bill. It's a confusing world we live in. Day and night, we're bombarded with reminders of sex, liquor, smoking, even drugs. It all gets pretty unreal. know, Bill, it's easy for young people to get lost in this jungle that surrounds all of us. But, Bill, you have to recognize that it's all a big sell. Life isn't like that. And deep inside, son, you know it. Now, look, it's quite normal to question how you want to respond to all this and what kind of life you want for yourself. All young men do.
Yeah. But most of them haven't gotten themselves in a bind like I have.
No, but they could. They have the same things working inside of them just as strong as those inside of you. Only most of them have learned to control it better than you have.
Believe it or not, Chaplain, this was the first time I ever had a girl.
Well, it only takes once.
But it just doesn't seem fair. I mean, everyone else is messing around.
Everyone? Out having a great big orgy?
Well, yeah. Just listen to the guys in the barracks talk.
Well, big mouths are the last ones to believe.
Yeah. But all I know is, when I go and try and find out what it's like, well, look what happens. The first time, can you beat that?
So have you learned anything?
Yeah. But I didn't want to get Mary pregnant. But what's a guy supposed to do for sex? Well, if he doesn't get it with a girl he likes, well, either he goes out and looks for a pickup or a prostitute or does something like...
Like masturbate?
Yeah.
Well, that's not the answer, and you know it. Masturbation can't hurt you physically or make you insane or anything like that. It's just not what I'd call a completely satisfactory sexual experience.
Yeah, but what's a guy supposed to do?
Look, there's no one answer. There's no one style of behavior that'll suit everyone. But before you decide, get all the facts. Right now, you're in the prime of your life. You're seeking independence from your parents. You're physically and sexually mature. But you're not ready for marriage. You have your Navy service to think of and perhaps more education later on. A career to plan for. At the same time, there are always sexual and other influences that need to be controlled. There are lots of things to help you control them. You can pitch in and do especially good work in your job. You can take part in sports and other physical activities. You can develop whatever creative talents or interests you might have. And you can enjoy girls without going all the way. Now, will it be activities like these that help build your self-respect? Or will it be ones that tend to degrade you? The decision is yours. You can let yourself drink too much, or ruin your lungs, or get yourself hooked on drugs, or let your natural feelings about sex develop unnaturally, or be turned to women who will give you satisfaction for a price. You can do all those things if you're willing to pay the price of possible damage to your health or to your own self-respect. Here's where a physical danger enters the picture. VD. Whores and pickups are easy to come by and can just as easily infect you and leave you with a different set of problems. Unless thoroughly treated, VD can cause serious damage to your body. It can make a simple act like urinating an excruciating experience, and unless completely controlled, can eventually lead to sterility, or even crippling, blindness, heart disease, insanity. And you can pass it on to another girl. The girl you marry, for instance, and give her the same problem, but worse, because it's harder to find and cure.
You and the doctor sure make a good case for playing it cool, Chaplain.
There's an even stronger case, Bill, and you've made it yourself with Mary.
Yeah, but I don't like to think about it.
Well, you're going to have to think about it. It's bad enough that your own future is at stake, but look what you've done to her life. Can you imagine what she must be going through?
But, Mother, I'm sure Bill will marry me if I ask him to.
Oh, that's all we need is someone like that for a son-in-law.
Is marriage what you really want, Mary? What about your plans to finish school?
The only thing is, I'm not sure if he really loves me.
Loves you? How could he love you? He only had 3 dates with you. 3 days? Oh, brother.
Love really takes getting to know one another, honey.
You can say that again.
And you and Bill just haven't had that chance. It may come in time, but marriage is no place to experiment.
Don't you know that half the teenage marriages end up in divorce? And you want to know why? Because you kids get out there and start fooling around, and you end up having to get married. And it's wrong from the start. I don't know what's gotten into these kids today. I wish I could...
You have to decide, honey. Your father and I can only help you with it.
What do you want me to do?
Well, I don't see how you can have it here.
Your father has a point, Mary. And don't you think it would be less embarrassing for you? I've asked around, and I found a place that can help us. We'll take you there just as soon as the baby starts to show. And you can stay there until it's born.
I don't want to go to a home for unwed mothers.
But, honey, they take care of everything. They even see that the baby's put up for adoption, and you never even have to see it if you don't want to.
Oh, Mother, I'm so ashamed.
It's usually very lonely for the girls in a home like this, Bill. Awfully lonely.
Your name is Wendy? Where are you from?
From a little town about 100 miles from here.
When do you expect your baby?
In about 3 months.
Does anybody know?
Nobody knows.
Not even the baby's father? Why haven't you told him?
I try, but I just can't.
Do you care for him? Does he care for you? Then why are you afraid to tell him?
Well, I don't want to make him have to marry me because now I got pregnant. I just didn't know who to turn to.
Well, maybe we can help you. Let me tell you about this place. This is a home.
Well, they do everything to help the girls adjust to their predicament, to restore their self-respect, to keep them busy learning new skills, acquiring new interests, gaining new insights of themselves. But it's not like home. It's not like living with a husband you love, sharing the joy of the new life developing inside you. In place of love, there's regret. In place of hope, heartache. But if you want to know about real loneliness and heartache and despair, Bill, you have to see the children who have been brought into this world illegitimately. Children hungry for love and attention, living daily with a longing that someone from somewhere will love them and take them from here into a home with love in it. Can you picture your child here?
Good Lord.
You can marry her.
I don't want to get married, Chaplain. Well, I'm not ready to get married. And if I don't, and Mary decides to keep the baby, can they make me support both her and the baby?
Oh, yes. At least the child. Until it's 21.
Oh, boy, whichever way I turn, it'll sure mess up my plans for more schooling. You know, Chaplain, I kind of like Mary. With a little more time, I might have gotten serious.
Well, what you did when you dated her was pretty serious.
But she was wearing this bikini, and I just couldn't help myself.
Bill, every act that you perform, everything that you do, accumulates one upon another to make you what you are, to make you what you will be. Now, you can choose between actions that you're proud of and ones that you're not. And the same holds true with dating. Now, self-control is just as important in dating as it is with everything else. It's even more important because somebody else's life is involved. Of course, when you date, you should never forget that as a male, you have a basically aggressive instinct. You're built to pursue the female. And the question is, how far do you go? Should you let go to the animal urge for conquest? To go all the way? Or do you recognize that you have to control things before they get to the point where they can't be stopped? And there is that point. You have to realize, too, that girls also have sex drives. A girl may want to be attracted to you, but she may not realize how much the way she dresses and behaves excites you sexually. And she's not as easily aroused, and she usually doesn't think of sex in terms of a one-night stand. She thinks in terms of a longer relationship, with tenderness, affection, and love. If you feed her emotional needs without any serious intent, you can take advantage of her. But you can't do it without feeling a sense of guilt, because you've deceived her. Really, dating is an important and a very natural relationship between unmarried men and women, basic to the human biological urge to look for a mate. It's the best way to meet different kinds of girls, and to evaluate them as possible mates and let them evaluate you. Now, dating different girls is just the first step. Later on, you court one girl, then marriage and children, and raising them in a family environment. This is the road that can lead you to an emotional and physical relationship that can endure for years and years. It's what most men strive for. But it can all be shattered in one single action. In one single moment.
I thought you told me you loved me.
I do, Bill. You know I do.
What's the matter then?
It's just
you really don't, huh?